But let's jump into the first story about Fox. The Biden administration working with, it's from Fox Business, the Biden administration working with industry to develop COVID-19 passports as vaccinations progress. Passports offer a glimpse of a future that many are longing for after months of COVID-19 restrictions. I really love that Fox is saying that people are longing for vaccine passports. Aren't you guys? Because Cassandra, Ian, don't you want to be able to have an app where they can know everything about you and you scan it if you want to go shopping?
I'm really bummed that it's an app and not paper. Makes things a lot more difficult.
Show me your papers.
No, they're saying it will also be paper.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
I think COVID passports. Okay, hold on.
This is like the social credit score in China.
Right. Well, so they implemented a similar system. I'll just break it down very simply for those that don't know what it is. You will have an app on your phone. You will put in all your private information. And then when you get vaccinated, it will have that information. If you go to the store or you go to a theater or you go to an airline, they'll have an app. It'll be like, you must scan it to prove you've gotten your vaccinations. I think COVID is just the beginning. How long until they're like, oh, if you want to go to the store, have you gotten, your Hep shot or something like that, or your tetanus shot? Have you gotten your flu shot? Well, you got to have that. And with the ease of an app like this, the vaccine passport, they're calling it, then, Walmart or whoever else can be like, you know what? Everybody should get flu shots. End of story. So you better carry around your papers, right?
Yeah, I don't have a phone. I don't carry paperwork around with me. Get off my back.
I'm just wondering how long it's going to take for a black market for them to spring up on it.
Dude,
there's fake IDs.
Dude, so
yeah, I feel like people
obvious.
are going to have hacked apps.
Yeah.
Like people are just going to jailbreak their phones and then make their own apps.
Medical tracking is terrifying.
I mean, if they make it so you can't do anything without it, people are going to find a way to get it, even if they don't actually want to get the vaccine or if they can't.
Think about how crazy that's going to be, though. Like, you can't go to Walmart unless you have an app you can scan on the way in. So what about somebody who doesn't own a phone, right? Let's say you're really, really poor. You can't even get any kind of smartphone. Even though there's some pretty cheap ones, you can't get it. And then you got to go to a place to issue a vaccine passport from a certain place on a card. They say that voter ID is racist because poor people and minorities struggle to go to the DMV. And I'm like, dude, the DMV's been around for literally ever. Everybody can ask someone, yo, where's the DMV at? If you went outside right now and walked up to a random person and said, hey, where can I get a vaccine? They're going to be like, I don't know. So you think poor people and these people you believe are underprivileged are going to have an easy time figuring out how to navigate the system? Nah, they're creating some kind of like caste system.
This is like when polio, the vaccine came, people wanted that vaccine because polio is crippling people. It was terrifying. It was deadly. It was devastating. So people wanted it. You didn't have to force them to get it and track to make sure they got it. Like, people were just getting it because they needed it. They wanted it. This vaccine, this thing has a 99.97% recovery rate. This COVID thing, I don't think a vaccine is necessary, especially ones that are accessing blood clots.
For older people.
Maybe for older people.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it's still so early in the process that they rushed it out in like 6 months. This vaccine's been out.
I'm not super opposed to the rushing process. I'm concerned about the non-approval process. You know what I mean?
That as well, yeah.
Yeah, so the FDA hasn't approved this yet.
Yeah, both of those things concern me. I think that the rush is scary. I mean, we don't know what the lasting effects of any of this stuff will be. We don't even know what the lasting effects of COVID will be. So just all of it, the rush, the lack of, testing and approval, it freaks me out. And I'm very pro-vaccines. I'm not like anti-vax at all. I just think that people are rushing into this stuff.
Yes, but I was reading about the approval process from the FDA. Did you know it's something like 6 months to get legitimate hard FDA approval?
Yeah.
So it's probably just going to be approved soon. So that's why a lot of people are like, well, it's an emergency use authorization. I think that matters because now you got Canada talking about blood clots or whatever. Mm-hmm. It definitely matters. But I'd like to see FDA approval. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's unreasonable for me to be like, yo, I don't think it's fair. New York's already rolling out the passports. Here's the bigger problem. It's not the government doing it. Biden's got a plan. Biden's working with industry, but they can't force anybody to do anything. What's going to happen is you're not going to be able to board a plane. You're not going to be able to buy a ticket from Ticketmaster or whatever. It's going to be social enforcement in the private sector. That's going to make all this happen. Like masks, for instance. What happened in Texas when they were like, yo, we're done with this? There was like some chain of grocery stores, something that said, nope, you still got to do it. I think Walmart was like, nope, you still got to wear masks.
Their infection rates are going way down, though, right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So everything is just crazy. It's like, I don't know. I live in the woods up on a mountain. I interact with like 4 people a week. Like I'm just like, I don't really feel like I need anything like this. Like, we're fine. We're up in the mountain. You guys can do your things in the city.
But so what about in cities though? What if they said vaccine passports only in the city and not in the mountains?
I mean, I don't care. I don't want to go to cities. I hate going to cities. So I'll stay up on the mountain. You guys can get your papers down there.
When did you used to live in big cities?
Yeah, I hate them.
What happened?
So I haven't been back to a city since I moved to West Virginia, or I hadn't until last week because I had to take my cat to an emergency vet and it was a whole thing. But he had to go get surgery in Richmond. And I went there and I was like, wow, this is like The Walking Dead or something. Like,
because it was like apocalyptic?
Yeah, it was just everybody's walking around with masks. They're all like, I don't know. It's just really weird because I hadn't, for the past almost a year, I've been up, in the mountain, where I am, pretty isolated. Like, we go to the country store. Nobody wears a mask.
Surrounded by a bunch of right-wing nut jobs?
Yeah, I love my right-wing nut job community. But, yeah, everything's like normal. Like, you have to wear a mask if you go to like the big chain stores, like if you go to Walmart or something. But if you go to like the local nursery or the country store, you're not going to see people wearing masks, and they're going to get looked at funny if they do.
They tell people to take them off.
Yeah,
they're like, you should take that mask off.
Yeah,
and I'm like, well, it's your business. You know what I mean? Like, that's interesting thing about the whole mask thing. Like, what if a business tells you can't wear masks? And people are like, well, it's like my view is it's a private business, man. If it's that's the challenge with a lot of this passport stuff is that it's social enforcement.
Yeah.
If every business is saying we all do this, then what do you do?
Yeah.
I guess you just get your passport, right?
That's what makes me think that this bad information is freaky. Like, flu numbers are down, COVID numbers are up. Is that right? Like, the flu numbers were way down, but the COVID numbers were way up. And they were like, well, equal amounts of deaths is normal, but this time it's no flu deaths. It's all COVID deaths.
Yeah, but that could be spurious correlation.
Maybe.
Like,
could be. That's the thing. They don't know, but they want to force a vaccine. It's crazy.
Well, but I'll say this. So one of the things that they've been saying for a long time is that locking people inside their homes is a mistake because COVID transmits easier indoors. So it could be that putting people in their house makes flu go down, but then spreads COVID easier. So it was like the dumbest thing they could have done. But not, I think that's like a simple solution, I suppose. But when you have, in Europe, they were like, if you're pregnant, don't get it. If you have food allergies, don't get it. And I'm like, okay, I won't. You know what I mean? I'll chill. I'm not in a rush. I think something like 50% of people said they're willing to just wait and take it easy. That's what's really interesting when Fox runs a story and they're like, everyone's longing for this, reopening. I'm like, most people said they're willing to wait on the vaccine because they're concerns about, potential long-term effects that haven't been studied properly.
Yeah, I might be in like a weird right-wing bubble because like my community are all, normal, sane people who are not freaking out about anything. But I'm perfectly happy not getting a passport, staying on my mountain, my garden, just
ordering
chilling.
from Amazon.
Yeah, everything gets delivered to my house. I don't even go grocery shopping. So it's like, okay, you guys enjoy your passports and
living in the mountains. So here's the crazy thing though, West Virginia's red and Virginia's blue. Like even right where West Virginia and Virginia kind of meet, it's crazy how I've gone out there and talked to people and they're liberals.
Well, no, the border of West Virginia and Virginia, they're very red. Like, you drive that area, it's all farmland, and you're going to see, like, Trump signs everywhere. And I feel really bad for them, actually, because it's like they don't get a vote. West Virginia actually, I think it was about a year ago, offered to take those counties into West Virginia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it sucks for them. Like, they're all pro-gun, they're, right-wing, and they're being represented by the people who work in D.C. and live in the cities that are close to D.C.
And you know why they don't want to live in D.C.?
Because it's horrible.
Because they're racist.
Oh.
Yeah, I absolutely think it's because most of these well-to-do progressive liberal types are super racist. They don't want to live in the cities that they've destroyed with their policies. Like DC has a very, very high percentage of black residents. It's no surprise then the people who work in DC and run DC decide to move out of DC. They don't want to. This is what happens. And now Virginia's turning blue across the board. And then they're not going to want to live there in a year or two. And they're going to move to Maryland or they're going to move south and go, to North Carolina or something and slowly keep moving away from the things they keep voting for. One of the funny things about West Virginia is I see these stories where I was talking to a guy at a gun shop, and he was like, you can tell who the liberals are, like when they're moving in, because they complain about mountain things that no conservative cares about.
Yeah.
So like, someone said, my neighbor left their trash out, and I why are they doing this? What do I got to do to make them pick their trash in? And everyone's like, who cares?
My local community Facebook group is always like joking about that. Whenever somebody new moves in, they'll be like, are you guys allowed to be shooting guns this close to people's houses? And they're like, welcome to the mountain. Get ready for the UTVs and ATVs too.
You'll see some, people driving around in Rascals with a couple of ARs, like, yeah, American flag.
Yeah. Shout out to the United States, because I used to live first I was in the suburbs, grew up, then I went to the cities and lived that part of my life. And now in the mountains, it's like another world.
Yeah.
It's another world.
I love it.
It's like another country.
We got this race car. It's like super nice race car. And we've got these 2-foot quarter pipes in the parking lot, and we just bought it, and we're kind of like, we can do whatever we want. So this thing can go 60 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
Launched the thing like 25 feet in the air. It's flipping around and smashes the ground and is bouncing, and we're like, probably going to break it.
Just laughing.
But you can do that out here.
Yeah.
So that's the crazy thing too. Like the whole time with COVID, I've been saying that since, when COVID started, we were in the Philadelphia area. That was actually really scary.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by all these people. And then you get told, like Donald Trump appears on TV and he's like, I'm shutting down travel to Europe and all this stuff. And we were like, damn, this is serious. Mm-hmm. And we were worried too, because like the supply shortage, the toilet paper was gone. Like our local Walmart, toilet paper all gone.
The neighbor bounced, like the one neighbor.
Yeah, the
they
neighbor
just
was
left
gone
town for like 2 months.
And then when the storm blew like the fence off, it was just down.
Yeah, they just abandoned their house for like 2 months.
They took off. I think it was longer than that.
Probably.
It's freaky.
It was like
freaky.
all summer.
So then we ended up moving out to the middle of nowhere. It's like paradise. People just go about their business like normal. You go down to like the local shop. Wait. Nobody hassles you.
I just want to say though, we also have Bigfoot. People play their banjos really loud all night.
Mothman?
There's a lot of shooting, like things in their front yards, Confederate flags everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Leftists, don't move.
Don't move out
Don't
here.
move to West Virginia. You will hate it. It's awful. And that is all. Just had to throw that in there.
So I tweeted, I don't know if you saw the story, like Lindsey Graham said he has an AR-15. You see that? He's like doing an interview and he's like, I got an AR-15, and I forgot what he said. If it all goes bad or whatever, the gangs this is the last place the gangs will go because I can defend myself. And so I tweeted, Lindsey has an AR-15, pathetic. We should ban AR-15s outright, completely. And then the government should issue everyone a Barrett M82, 50 BMG semi-automatic anti-material rifle. Then you'll truly, I'm kidding, by the way. But, that's the thing about West Virginia is that, well, so I've been buying a lot of bullets because, first of all, they're hard to get. And then people were saying, you want to have like 1,000 rounds per gun is like a good amount to have on store. And people got to realize this too. I'm sure to people who don't know anything about guns, 1,000 rounds sounds like a lot because it did to me when I was first buying guns. You go to the range one time and you're like, oh, I get it now.
You go through like 120 really quick or something.
Real quick. I mean, if you're with your friends and you're practicing, you're doing training, you're gonna go through a decent amount of rounds quickly. So 1,000 rounds might be a couple months of practicing at the range. If you want to take it seriously, a lot of people don't shoot that much. But for hunting, people might shoot a couple times. Well, so I started buying bullets, and I was talking to a guy at the shop, and I was like, I'm getting a bunch of 12 gauge, and I was like, is this too much? Does this notify anybody? He started laughing, and he goes like, you think you're anywhere close to prepper territory or even West Virginia resident territory? He's like, come on, man, those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. I'm like, all right, I'll take what you got. Put them in the box. And then I got like a huge box of 12 gauge, I guess. But it does go quick, But anyway, I digress. We're talking about COVID.
Sorry, I'm a West Virginia fangirl. Apologies.
And I like ammo. I'm talking about ammo. Ammo is the... Oh, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, sorry.
Like, I brought this up before you play Fallout. Mm-hmm. Caps, bottle caps is the currency of the future after the nuclear war. I think that ammo, it would just be ammo. So like you use your ammo or you trade your ammo. The ammo has weight. I think that'd be a great modification.
Super valuable.
Yeah.
Like
insanely valuable.
In another game I'm playing, it's water is the currency. So you carry that around and trade fresh water.
Yeah, but it depends, I suppose.
Case
Fresh
of
water is
food.
probably, but you're not going to be carrying around lots of water.
It's heavy. That's the problem.
Right.
Cigarettes and whiskey, too.
Yeah.
So you can find like metal, copper and stuff, but ammo. Cigarettes is a good one.
Yeah.
And
alcohol.
antibiotics.
Yes.
Bitcoin, because people will still have phones. I'm kidding. I have no idea.
No.
No, yeah, I don't know.
Stuff that disappears after you use it.
It's hard to know, actually, because water makes sense, but you can't carry a lot of water around with you.
Right.
You can carry enough for personal use. you carry too much, and then you can't. You're actually exerting water to carry the water.
It's a great currency model for a video game because of the weight.
Plus, if you're carrying a big thing of water on like a wagon, like you're
a
gonna be
target.
Yeah, these roving bands are going to show up.
You have to hide it somehow.
So maybe not water, but bullets make sense. You know, you'll
Bullets
be like,
for
"Here, I found
sure.
these."
Also heavy.
But I can't imagine that. Maybe casings, because bullets you got to use. You don't want to give those up. They're too valuable.
They're too valuable, dude.
Dude, if the apocalypse happens and you've got just like 5 9mm for your gun, you're going to be like, I will never give these things up. You know?
I would never want to fire them. That's why I train with the bow and arrow, because I don't want to waste
can
my
reuse
ammo.
that. Yeah. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to see the full show, come back to this channel, youtube.com/TimcastIRL, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., where you can leave comments and super chat, and we actually will read your comments on the show. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and if you want exclusive members-only content, segments you can't get anywhere else, go to timcast.com, become a member, and we even have full bonus episodes. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.